We first applied in 1961, when my predecessor, Sean Lemass, personally presented in Brussels our application for membership of the European Economic Communities. Thereafter, we began to prepare for that membership by investing millions of pounds in adaptation of industry and ensuring that insofar as we could achieve it, industry would be ready for the competition that would be reached or would be met when we would become members of this wider European community. Similarly with agriculture, we have spent many years and many millions of pounds to ensure that agriculture too would be ready to take advantage of the tremendous benefits that offer when we would become members of the community.
Nothing's going to change overnight, but gradually over time, as we become better off, we'll be better able to afford better social benefits. And there will be the increase in the labour, in the social benefits next year as an immediate consequence of membership. As a helpful anti-EEC, first of all. Obviously throwing oranges. But let me remind you, the price of oranges is unchanged in the EEC.
You're standing to give anything to Britain.
How do you work that out?
Because
the government has already given them
don't give anything to any other country.
No, we already. This gentleman is a bit confused. He thinks that if we say we don't want to go into Europe, this gentleman thinks that if we don't go into Europe, we're going to be tied to England. Now, the fact of the matter is that we are already tied to England. If we go into Europe, we'll be tied hand and foot forever, not only to England, but to Europe. Quite honestly, it doesn't worry me whether my master is British or whether my master is French or German. I just don't like masters. It's damn near time the Irish were masters.
I want to know what's going to happen to me if I get 5 new pence the gallon for my milk, and if I get £10 a head for my cash, which I got until such time as this thing of the common market was mooted. Can you answer me that, Mr. Kilroy? And I think that if we stay outside the common market, that I'll be one of the first that will be going to England or to Europe or somewhere else looking for a job.
The people who are consuming your products will go on consuming them.
Where? It's going to Britain at the moment. And if we're not...
It will continue to be sent to Britain.
What about our tariffs then? Where are we going to stand with all our tariffs and taxes?
It is true that large-scale production, of course, will benefit. Farmers who have the capital and who are geared for this kind of thing will be able to make a success of it. But the small farmers, whose capital is always very limited, inevitably, will not be able to face the kind of competition, even in the very quality of the milk that is being produced. Our negotiators out in Brussels last year argued very strongly for an exemption period of, I think, 5 years before the rules governing the quality of milk would be applied to this country.
What are you going to feed those 15 cows on the 15 acres?
If you manage it properly, if you fertilise it properly,
yes.
We know in fact that there are many farmers today carrying cows in excess of a cow to the acre, up to a cow and a half to the acre. And this is true, and this is what we've got to aim at, and this is the way that you'll be making money. Because one of the problems with small farmers is that in fact they're under stock simply because they haven't had the capital up to now to stock properly, to fertilise their land.
We won't get the capital from Brussels.
In the East, yes you will. This is the thing, you will get low interest loans. This is the thing that you'll not get here at home. You'll get low interest loans,
instead of 12,
and small farmers will get it. Small farmers will get that. No, you will get it at 5%. If you want it.
Michael Dillon told us we were just in an anachronism. Well, look, we shouldn't be recognised even.
Yeah, well, look, if you have yourself convinced of that, there's nothing anybody
can
do for you. But the thing for you to do is to get up off your feet and start to fight.
I've been off my feet a long time.
We're fighting all our life with 15 acres of land.
We'll fight Mansholt. Just the same as Michael Davitt fought him. Just the same as Michael Davitt fought landlordism.
That's true,
We drove them out, and we'll drive
them out again.
as well.
Yeah, well,
they may get a foothold, but we will still put them out, regardless of the connivance of the Irish National Farmers Association.
If you want to take low prices, the price we would be getting at the moment selling our dairy products in the Middle East or in Southeast Asia is exactly 5 pence a gallon. And I'm on the milk marketing board and I know it. I know what the situation is in these marketplaces. And this is in fact what Mr. Kilroy is suggesting to you.
The Irish people in Ireland.
And in fact the gentleman down there is dead right that Mr. Kilroy has not put up tonight an alternative to common market membership. He spent his time, in fact, pointing out the difficulties of membership without talking about the difficulties of non-membership and the disastrous position we'd be in if we stay outside.
And when Britain goes in, and the population of the farming population of the EEC fell from 20 million to 10 million in the last 10 years, it's forecast that it'll be halved again to 5 million in the next 10 years. When the voting power of the farmers goes down, when Britain goes in and tilts the balance in the direction of the industrial countries, in the direction of cheap food. If the common market slips back to a cheap food policy in the 1980s, where will we be then? We'll have sold our country for a mess of pottage, and when the 1980s come along, even the mess of pottage won't be there available.
Councillor Nolan.
Hello, Councillor. Any relation to yours, Tom? Huh? Are you related?
No, unfortunately. They're all Nolans out there.
Hello, how
Jim
are
Ray, our ex-county footballer. You remember met Jim before?
Oh, yes, indeed, Jim. I often heard of you, all right.
But let me tell you this. We in the Irish Trade Union Movement have done a little sum, which any of you can do for yourselves, in relation to the projections over the last 10 years about the provision of jobs, and in relation to the facts, including the current one of 80,000 people unemployed, including the current projection by another body like the ESRI of 100,000 people unemployed. And we've related all this information to the growth levels in our economy and to what we're being told in this white paper about a net gain of 50,000 new jobs. And we have come up with the staggering conclusion that if what is said in the white paper was to be achieved, we would need to provide 135,000 new jobs over the next 5 years. Now, do I have to say any more?
If we take the other aspect of the alternative, what do we see? We see a receding industry. We see an industry that will be bound by the shackles of bad markets. We'll see tariffs put up against us. And those of you who remember a time when tariffs were up against agricultural products in this country before, I remember it, and many of you probably heard of it. But none of us want this repeated anymore. We want to belong to Europe.
We do not have to continue looking at the past, but we do have to learn the lessons of the past. And at any time that the Irish people place their faith in foreign monarchs, in foreign governments, or in foreign institutions, they learn to rue the day. And if they do it now, they will also learn to rue it, because we have the obligation and we have the responsibility, and no one else will take that responsibility or obligation, to create a situation in which we can maintain a viable community in this island.
We've got to focus on the problem of securing social justice for ourselves and for our children. We've got to focus on the problem of getting enough and a decent society in which people can live. That is one of the basic issues which the European community was set up to deal with. The problem of ensuring that Europe produced enough to give people a reasonable kind of life, and that what was produced was distributed fairly between the people who lived in the European countries.
And if we decide to join the European Economic Community, in our particular circumstances, as I've tried to outline it to you, we will then be saying, we are not fit to continue as a free people. We must go into an institution. And you know what going into an institution means in Irish terms. We must go into an institution which will help us to survive, which will take care of us. And this institution is the European Economic Community.
And I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, that despite problems which undoubtedly there will be for us in taking that course, that to take full membership is the courageous and right course for this country. We are fit to play that full and equal part in Europe. I think we should take the opportunity of playing it.
Possibly the most cynical and deceitful pretense of all is the claim that we will have a voice in decisions. That's the argument that is used as against an association agreement. We're told we'll have a voice in decisions. We'll have no voice. It's just this isn't true. It's possible, of course, that exceptionally determined and aggressive representatives could conceivably make us the sore thumb of Europe, as we could have been the sore thumb of the United Nations in the matter of the partition of our country if we had been sufficiently interested. But this won't happen. This won't happen. As in the case of the United Nations, we'll be too polite. We'll take what we get, like good Europeans, and our voice will be proportional to our representation, and that's so infinitesimal as to be derisory.
We can stay out or we can join, but to join means that we can begin the process which will gradually make the border less and less significant. But to stay out means not only that we recognize and accept the border, but that we would build it higher and higher with our own hands. And I'm sure nobody here wants to do or undertake an operation of that nature.
If Jack Lynch was really concerned about what goes on in the north of Ireland, this would be a magnificent opportunity for him to extend to the people in the north of Ireland, right across the board, regardless of religion, an opportunity to take part in a decision, a basic, fundamental decision affecting all of the Irish people. And by that one gesture, he would do an awful lot to give the people in the north of Ireland, especially those who support the Unionist Party, an opportunity to feel that they belong to us, an opportunity to take part in a decision that would do an awful lot to get rid of all the strife and all the hatred that exists between the various sections of the community in Northern Ireland. And Jack Lynch could have done that, and he has missed his opportunity.
Now the Northern Republicans have spoken, and they've spoken clearly. And not alone have they spoken, but the Unionists have spoken as well. And this is one thing that they are all agreed on. And they say to us, stay out in God's name, so that when we break loose from Britain, we'll have somewhere to come to. We'll be able to join with you in building the new